Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee, this Jaylee's Corner. This is going to be my quick review for Housewives of Atlanta, the episode from last night, but also for Put a Ring on It, which came on Friday, and I just had not reviewed it yet. Okay, it has been a long Monday already. Honey, it is a lot going on around here, so let's just get started. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel to become a whole JayBird, dots, and dot. Okay. Do not forget to also like the video, comment in the comment section. Also, the little share button because that's always appreciated. Okay. Y'all know to relax, relate, to release. I need to for sure do that today. And to always center yourself and everyone around you and always inhale and exhale because if not, your head may pop off. Okay. You can follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner on IG, on Twitter. Now, while I am here, whatever, I don't feel like putting on my sweatshirt. I'm tired, y'all. And I'm gonna probably not be on camera that much, but I wanted to come on here and still get my review done. I was supposed to be live earlier, honey. It was outside mowing the lawn and it was too loud and that pushed things back. And then I ordered stuff, something that was supposed to be delivered today, and the done mail people told me they came and they did not come, and that's all thing. So I'm like, my energy is just off. I'm like, let me come on here, honey, and chit chat with y'all, and then go take a nap. But I'm gonna let that be. So again, we are going to be discussing Housewives of Atlanta, but also Put a Ring on It. And let me get my little screen up. Okay. Now I was going to also do Love Match Atlanta, but I just cannot get into that show at all. I tried my best, and I mean my best to watch episodes 1 and 2 to get prepared for episode 3 that came on last night, and I just don't. Yeah, it's just not my thing. I'm like, so I just put a ring on it with Housewives of Atlanta, because I'm pretty sure after putting on it off, another show will be back that I will match with Atlanta because I'm like, I just cannot get into the little dating show of Love Match Atlanta. It's just not my thing. And I'm like, I don't want to force it. Okay. But thank you for those who are watching the live video. Thank you to those who are also watching the live chat replay. I'm still trying to get my notes together to go live for the Carlos King Heavenly and Martell thing, but that's also not moving me. I might need to have a drink to get my spirit, in the right place or whatever. But let's get started with Put a Ring on It. So we know the three couples are finishing up from last week's conversation. And look, Shorty and Kenneth and they fussing, you know what I'm saying? Charlena and Otis and they toxicness, and then Shay and Fonzo, their avoidance is what it is, okay? So we do find out this week. The Dr. Nicole tells them, like, look, the only choice y'all have right now is to either go on a date with someone you've already been on a date with, okay, so bring someone back, or go on another date with the person you just went on a date with. So Alfonso chooses to have a second date with that girl, Tanisha from last week. Shay chooses a second date with Azar, who was the guy from the fight date. Okay, now I don't know why she would choose to go on a date with him because I'm like, I would not ever want to ever see a person again who I acted a plum D fool in front of. Okay, but I'm like, I guess she wants to do what she wants to do. And we see that Charlena chooses another day with Chris. Now, even though she has said that she did not want to date Chris again, that she felt like Chris wanted to take her from Otis, and so she didn't want that energy around, but she then chose to go on another date with him because I guess that was her only option for her. Otis chooses a date with the girl. I think it was the first girl he went on a date with, but I felt like Otis has not liked anyone. He's emotionless, okay? Otis is a whole alien to me. And I'm like, girl, you know what I'm saying? I think you need to leave that man because it's something about someone who doesn't have any emotion at any time that I don't trust. Okay. I feel like he can't be trusted, but that's on him. Now, Kenneth chooses the girl, Myasia, who used to be Shorty's like intern back in the day. I'm like, you pick somebody she knew. Okay, and then Shorty, of course, chooses to go on a date with Tavy. Now, we then see a whole little scene of Shorty and Kenneth having a conversation at the house, okay? Shorty is so short. It's so cute. He's so tall. It's so cute, but they're so toxic together and stuff. I'm sorry, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Caught a whole live, okay? Hey. I don't mean to like not say hey to people. I just was forgetting it, whatever. Plus I got new neighbors upstairs. And that's the whole thing. Honey, it's a Monday. It's a whole Monday, and I don't know what to do. But anyway, so Shorty and Kenneth little conversation. Shorty and Kenneth are for sure toxic in the most visible ways. I think the same way we see him as possibly using her a little bit, I think she also uses him a little bit. I think they have great sex, and I think they both are passive aggressive. That's why I'm like, y'all need to break up because she is not happy with him and where he is in life, and that's her prerogative or whatever. And I feel like he knows what she don't like, but he feels like he does things in other ways that she should appreciate, and I'm like, but that's not how it works. Okay, so he like, look, okay, we need to communicate better. We need to be able to work through our issues, but I need you to know that you're going to respect me. Okay, you're going to watch how you talk to me. You're going to watch your tone when you talk to me. And this is the thing, what Kenneth said made complete sense. Is how he said that it was how he said it that I did not agree with. I feel like you want to get rough and tough with your Afro puffs at Shorty now because I guess you have just the authority to do so on the show. But I feel like you didn't have to talk to her so tough like. And I don't know if you're trying to match her energy and how you feel she talks to you, but you having that conversation with her in that way didn't make sense to me. Okay. And I'm like, is the real Kenneth seeping out the seams of his I don't know. Okay. He tells her that when she talked to him like that, he shuts down. Okay. And I don't want to have that energy with you. I don't talk to you like that. You should not talk to me like that. That's not how it should be. I said, well, I guess if you say so. Now, Shorty on her end feel like he say he shut down when we get into arguments. Okay, that's his thing. But however, he doesn't even come back to me to talk about whatever once things are calm. He does not do that on his own. Now, I thought, well, that's a good thing to speak about because if your issue is we fussing or whatever, and I'm too hype or you too hype to let you walk away. Okay, well, when you calm down or when you feel I'm more calm, why don't you reopen that conversation to be done in a better manner? And he said, because I don't have time for childish and petty games with you. And he was saying, I'm trying to move forward and not go back over petty stuff. And I'm like, you can't want y'all to communicate better, but not want to have the communication about whatever it may be. It may be something petty. Fine. But a conversation is needed nonetheless. So I'm like, Kenneth be all over social media on his IG posts and everything, honey, all kind of screenshots of people reviewing the shows. But I feel like, Kenneth, are you really diving into you have an issue that you need to fix too? And while you feel like Shorty kept wanting to blame you, I also feel like, have you even took responsibility for the part that you play in the bullshit? I don't think you have, okay? Because he then asked her, well, how can we get on better terms? I'm like, sir, I don't think there are better terms for y'all. I think y'all need to break up, okay? But Shorty like, okay, you want to know how to do better? Okay, fine. Stop lying. Okay, stop giving fake apologies. Okay, just to shut me up, and also be consistent in how you feel because misleading me and thinking that you're going to fix behavior that you actually do not even think is wrong is on bullshit. Okay, and I'm like, well, that's a good observation that you realize that you may tell him what's wrong. He would act like he gonna fix it, and then he doesn't. But if he kept doing that, I want you to walk away, okay? And I kept seeing folks on social media bring up, well, she tried to leave him and he stalked her. He found her. I was like, this is very much so true. But again, there are ways to leave people other than coming on the show and then trying to make it seem like you kind of want it to work, but you kind of don't. I'm confused. I don't think she want that man at all. Okay, move to Africa, move to Afghanistan, move somewhere away from him. But if either of them says yes on at the end of this, I'm gonna throw my TV because y'all don't want each other. Okay, not at the all, especially seeing how y'all be acting on social media. But I'm gonna leave that be. Now she tells him how the whole point of being on the show, the whole question that they're being asked here is, are you ready to put a ring on it for this to be forever, to get married to the person that you're? Oh my God. I don't know if y'all can hear the noise upstairs where it's like they're moving a gorilla. So that just aggravated me. But I'm telling y'all off. When I get off here, I'm going to bed, okay? Because I hate when I'm up and I need to be working, but my energy is just off. Okay. Anyway, she said, okay, she is not willing to marry him. How things are, her answer would be no if being asked today, should he put a ring on it or will you put a ring on it? And I said, I agree, you should say no. But I think you should say no, not just because of where he is in life, but where you are in life, because you are accepting something less than what you deserve. So I think, yeah, of course, say no, move on, and get better within yourself. Okay. Anyway, Kenneth didn't say much more of that, but I do see the preview for next week seems to be like Kenneth is gonna be on some bullshit. Okay, he's gonna be acting like his real self. So I can't wait to see that. Now we see Alfonso. Alfonso goes on his date, and this is the second date with Tanisha. Tanisha is gorgeous. Okay, she is absolutely gorgeous, and I feel like even her energy is, compelling or whatever. I don't know if it's because I'm just tired of the shenanigans with Shay. I don't know if it's that, Shay is just always aggravating me, and acting like or putting on a air of I didn't do anything wrong, it's all that fine. So and Tanisha could just be a breath of fresh air. I don't know, but I do know they were flirting. I do know it seemed like he's attracted to her. She also was like, I'm surprised, he just out here being so respectful, despite our flirty behavior. I was surprised too, but Alfonso don't want her to murder him because I think if she found out that he was up here flirting and smiling all in this lady's face, that she would have a conniption. And I was like, well, okay, have a conniption then. But I do feel like Tanisha and Shay, not Tanisha and Shay, Tanisha and Alfonso like each other. I do feel like if he wasn't in a whole relationship with her, that he would mess with Tanisha. I also feel like if they were not on a reality show and there weren't cameras around, he would definitely be trying to talk to the lady. I think the cameras saved him. The cameras are the only reason, in my opinion, that he did not, flirt a little bit more, talk to her a little bit more. But there was a softness in their conversation that was kind of cute. Now I don't know if that's because it's brand new, and in 6 more years it could be some bullshit. Because Shay and him have been together for a couple years, but I like their energy. I'm like, well, they can date, but also because this is towards the end of the season, um, I don't feel like there was a real okay, we'll see each other again like on the show. I don't. I believe next week. Well, no, I don't think the show comes on next week because next week is Memorial Day weekend. So it may be. Oh Lord, it may be. Hold on one second. I want y'all to like the video just because I need y'all to. Okay, I'm back, honey. The post office and my damn package that they didn't lost. Trying to call and bother me. I'm leaving people be. But let's keep going. So again, I don't think this will work out only because it's the end of the season and the next episode is probably the finale, and then we'll get like either one part or two parts reunion. Okay, let's move on to Kenneth and Myasia, who went on a whole little date or whatever. Kenneth on the date with Myasia to me was trying to be like, get back. It was trying to be, okay, I'm gonna make Shorty feel bad when she watches back or whatever. He brings up how on his first date, he didn't really want to hurt Shorty's feelings, okay? So he wasn't really trying to, had that much fun or whatever. He wasn't trying to he liked Myasia, but he didn't want to push things too far because he was so focused on Shorty. He said, but this time I'm just operate as if I'm not in a relationship. I'm going to operate as in I like her, she can like me, and we can see where it goes. I'm like, son, but you still have a girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that too much. Now, again, Myasia is the woman who used to be an intern for Shorty years ago. And she brought up how I thought it would be a conflict of interest for me and him to like date. You know what I'm saying? Because I know his girl. But again, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. We have cool chemistry or whatever. I think he's cool. She did that he was mysterious. And I was like, because he's a little bit crazy. It's weird to me that she's so intrigued by him, but it could be because we've seen things that she had not seen. So he may be cool in person. It's the I told y'all, he's the accent. He's a handsome guy, but he's tall. He's in shape. So there's things about him that look to be very appeasing, and maybe to the naked eye it is, and we don't, and she also don't know the things that we've seen on the show. Okay, so I guess that's what it is. But I'm like, sometimes that's the reason to kind of back a little bit. Don't be too forthcoming and liking someone based on first appearances, because it can be deadly, if you ask me. Honestly, it sounds like next week Fonzo's gonna try to cut the loose ends with his baby mama. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I saw that. Now I wish she could have been on the show. I just wanted to see how she felt, but I'm ready to hear the phone conversation. Um, but for my agent, Kenneth, they was vibing, okay, vibing. But I don't know if that was Kenneth's way of just making sure that when Shorty sees the season and she sees this episode back, it'll make her feel some kind of way. Um, so I don't know if his liking, his good vibe was genuine, okay, because of things he said later on in the episode. I do feel like my agent had a genuine attractiveness to him, and she liked the vibe and she liked the chemistry, and by the end of the day, they would laugh with honey holding hands. So again, it just goes to prove sometimes you can't be out here believing folk who say they like you. They may be lying. Otis goes on another date with the girl Sheree, and I believe Sheree was. I think she was the first. I think she was the first girl he went on a date with. Um, Now this is their second date, and he admits, like, on the first day he did not give her a chance at all or whatever. He was kind of withdrawn, but he gonna try, to give it a little bit more now because it's the process. Now Sheree brings either Sheree, I think it's either Sheree. She brought up on the first date. The conversation was really surface level. Okay, it really wasn't much. So hopefully this day goes better. This day was boring. Okay, this day was boring. I swear, I felt like they showed maybe 19 seconds of conversation, and you could see her trying to get him to come up out of his shell, to talk a little bit more. Like, he wasn't even giving her eye contact. I don't like any, like, don't talk to me and not be looking at me. Like, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I need to feel like you are really at least trying to have a conversation with me and not a conversation with the air. Okay. And it was just boring. It was awkward. It was weird. It was tragic, in my opinion. And I blame Otis. I really do. I do think Sheree or Sheree, I can't remember how her name was pronounced, was trying her best to have a good time. Came looking gorgeous or whatever. And Otis was just giving boring, robotic, nothingness, mannequin. Okay. It's like, is there a heart in there, sir? Are you the scarecrow or the Tin Man? I don't know. But I felt like it was just on bullshit. So it almost feels like, some of these men, it feel like at certain times no one took the dating process serious, because it's not even really about dating someone else. It's about exploring your feelings and what you think you want, what you already have, and what you could get. And I'm like, nobody is like, oh well, let me just have a good conversation. I was like, whatever. Oh, hey mom. Hey mom. Otis is weird and be acting stiff. He do be acting stiff. It's just like it's a stick up his butt. He was all like he was all like with the waiter. He a whole a-hole. And it's weird because they went like a wine tasting, and she said, I like drinking wine or whatever. And the fact that she wanted to get him a little liquor in his system to get him out of his shell. And she to me was trying more than she needed to, because Otis ain't shit. He ain't shit at all. Okay, not at all. This season everyone seemed so detached. The dates didn't even seem real. It seemed more um orchestrated. And I felt like that from the moment they had Hollywood as a date for Shorty. I'm like, Hollywood, we didn't even like him on the season. I was like, what is going on? The only person I felt like was a true like date. I liked the girl Tanisha when she was, her and Alfonso, and I think that's really it. Okay, I really do, but it's like, yeah, this is kind of the worst season. This is not a good season at all. A season we don't want to deal with, and I'm not get out of my face all day and all night. But it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like the couples wasn't really trying, and neither were the dates. But I also thought the dates were basing things off of the couple. If I'm here with you and you ain't talking to me, what am I supposed to? I don't know you, sir. You're supposed to be trying to like date me. Like, what do you want me to do? And I think the worst was Otis and Kenneth. Because he just felt like he doesn't have to give anything, and then Kenneth because Kenneth was too busy trying to protect Shorty. Even with Shay, who kind of wasn't giving anyone a chance. Alfonso, it was on bullshit. It was really on bullshit. But I was like, we're gonna see. Now we then see Charlena, who had her date with the dude Chris. Okay, and let me tell y'all this: Chris for sure has big dick energy, absolutely. And I feel like that does not mean he has a big penis, but I do feel like the energy is that he gives it. Okay, because my thing is BDE, which is big dick energy, to me doesn't always mean the person has a big dick. It means whatever they have. They do things well with it. I'm leave that be. So their little second date, and Charlena brings up how for her, I wanted to clear up, any confusion on the comments Otis made about, Chris thinking I was weak. I'm like, ma'am, that's not something to clear up with Chris. That's something to clear up with Otis. Like, why are you going to Chris about what Otis said? Girl, I was like, Charlena, go sit down. Because I'm like, if you don't feel like you're weak, why even bring that back to Chris? Now, I know they forced you for the second date because you had no choice, but still. Because Chris said how he felt like, I'm not surprised that we got a second date because we had a good first date, and I think they did. But I'm like, well, sir, she turned down the second date because what I'm saying, it was, but they were kind of forcing this on her now. But she turned it down because she didn't want to fuck that man. Um, so she starts asking him, if it's easy for him to get women, if women just throw themselves at him. He's like, why don't you ask like what's going on in your relationship that these are your questions for me. Like it's not that anyone throws himself at me. It's also not that, things are easy. So like what's going on? And she said, well, Otis is sad that he felt like that you probably thought or that you looked at me as a weak woman. And that's why you felt like you could take me from him. And when Chris laughed and was like, of course he would say that. I was like, Chris is toxic. Chris is, don't, I won't say he's toxic. Chris is for sure devil dick, okay, in one way or the other. And he said, look, of course he would say that because he wouldn't want you to go on a second date with me. So he's gonna say something to make you feel like you should not date me. And I'm like, well, that's kind of true because we know Otis is also a crazy person. And I don't think someone saying that they want to, or they could take you from your man means that you're weak. It made me your man is weak because I snatched you, okay? And he said, like, I just know that with me and you, like, I like you. And then there's an attraction between us or whatever, and I want to see where it could lead to. You just happen to have a boyfriend. And I was like, that's very, very true, and no one thinks about that, okay? He said, so when you get that situation figured out, you don't have to reach me. And I was like, see, that's why I say Chris has a big dick energy, even if he may not have a big. I don't think Chris has a big dick. I don't. I do not. But I do think he carries himself in a way that means he can still sexually satisfy somebody in more than one way. Okay. And I like it. Now, Charlene does say that she would consider another date with him. Now, do I think they should like date and be a couple? Maybe not. Because Chris, again, still have this energy to where, because he also brought up how, if I see something I want, you know what I'm saying, I'll go after it. But that doesn't make the person I'm going after weak. And I was like, that's true. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Chris is something different, okay? Um, do you think Shorty's date with old boy are genuine? Oh, we're gonna get to that, and we're gonna get to that right now, okay? Shorty and Tavy's on a fourth date, and I believe I said on the panel last week that I don't feel like it's genuine. I don't think that Shorty ever genuinely wanted to date Tavy, at all. I do think she genuinely, doesn't like Kenneth that much anymore. I think, wow, oh my God. I think that is very much so genuine, but I don't know if anything else is. Hold on, y'all. The damn post office keep calling me. I'm gonna stop calling me about something y'all can deliver to me. But He asked her on date 4 if they, she learned anything about herself in this process, and why she gives an honest, well, I don't say she gives an answer. Okay, I can't say how honest it is. She gives an answer and saying that she's learned that while she wanted more respect from Kenneth, she realized that she wasn't always respectful to him. Okay, so she realized that about herself, that she was asking for something that she wasn't fully giving to her partner. And so going forward, within whatever her next situation is, whether it's with Kenneth or wherever else, that she knows she needs to do better next time. And so I was like, I guess that's whatever. She also brought up how she realized she can't pick someone and try to mold them into what she wants them to be, which means she's a bad picker. But I really wonder, Shorty is a conundrum to me, because sometimes I feel like she contradicts herself in what she wants. And I feel like that could be because she's not being truly genuine in either how she is in the show or what she wants in life. When he asked her how, where does he fit in her equation? And she's like, well, you're great. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, but I need to focus on me. I need to focus on fixing me, because if I don't do that, I will always end up blaming, my partner for what's really wrong with me. And while that's a great thing to deduce, that's a great thing to admit to, I also feel like it's full of shit, because I feel like she always knew she would never be with anyone on the show, not Kenneth or not any dates. And I think she played it well, because she was hoping, if I keep going on dates, so with Kenneth, and that can kind of force him to further, not be with me. And when Tavy said that he felt like, oh, well, that's cool or whatever, I'm happy for you. But I also feel like, I got set up to get let down. And I think he said they're not thinking, okay, well, you're on the show with someone who has a boyfriend. I think he meant that in saying she made it seem like we were so great and she was so unhappy at the house or whatever, and that I was a good option to only tell me, oh, you know what, I'm gonna work on myself. So I do think I can see his point in that, but I'm like, well, sir, this is a show about someone who has a boyfriend. Okay. Um, she was using Tavy, but why is she jealous if she wants to break up with Kenneth? I don't know. It's weird to me. Shorty knows she wants and can do better. Every time she berates her dude, she looks more stupid. She's just like she needs to leave. I kept saying it, and people kept saying, why y'all keep saying she should leave? Don't y'all know when she got to leave him, he came and found her? And I said, I understand that, but I'm like, keep leaving, because the thing about it is, she don't want Kenneth. She doesn't, and you keep leaving because you don't want that man, and leave that man where he at or whatever. But again, I felt like, Shorty to me was not being genuine in her dating atmosphere, her dates with Tavy. I think Tavy was one who was friendly. I think he was attractive. I think she liked that in him, but I don't think she ever felt like, okay, I could really, date him or really leave Kenneth just because of Tavy. I was like, no, I think she used Tavy to make Kenneth jealous. But that's on that. We then see Shay on her date with Azar, who I was confused, because I was like, ain't no way on God's green earth that I would go out with somebody who the last time we saw each other, I was fighting. But again, he's like, I'm still confused, because the last time I saw you, it was a whole situation. Now, she apologizes for the whole fight, for her actions or whatever, and thanks him for trying to calm her down. Now, his trying did not work, because she didn't get calmed down, but again, at least she, said, my bad, sir. I didn't mean to kind of get turned up or whatever, but thank you for trying to not let me fight. And he accepts her apology, excuse me, and they laugh through their date. And to me, they laughed their date the same way they did the first time. Okay, the first time on their date, they were having a lot of fun. There was a lot of laughing and whatever. A fun time was being had. But the fight happened. Okay, and to me, from this date with them on now, first of all, I think Azar is attractive. I think he has some good angles. I'm like, that's not a good angle, sir. It isn't. But he does have big dick energy. Okay. I think he probably has a big penis. It's the leather jacket for me. I'm like, I don't know. Because he walked up looking cute. But he has some bad angles too. But again, I feel like Azar is toxic. Okay. And the reason I say this because He was asking her if she's ready to leave her man to basically be with him because she needs him. She needs this calmness in her life, whatever, and you need me. After seeing her act a plum D fool over nothing, you want her to be with you. So to me, that means you are toxic because you must like bullshit. Who wants to be with? I would never want to be with someone who started a fight, okay, who started a fight with somebody and then would not calm down at a restaurant. Like that was your first and only impression of her. What makes you feel like that was someone you should be with and she deserves you? She deserves you. I was like, sir, you're toxic because you saw her flip out and you still want to date her. You are toxic. Okay. I'm surprised he agreed to see her again after all that rah because he's toxic. That's all it could be. But I'm like, that's on that man. I don't think at any given point she's gonna ever leave Fonzo for anybody. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Now we didn't see everyone come together to rehash their dates. Okay, all three couples. We're here with Dr. Nicole to talk. I feel like it was like no razzle dazzle. They only said the same thing we saw happen on the dates or whatever. But when Kenneth discussed his date with Myasia, again, who was the person who used to be Shorty's intern, he put a whole bunch of extraness on it. He put on how much he liked her or whatever, how he liked her the first time. Couldn't say anything because he didn't want to hurt Shorty or whatever, but now I like her a lot. It was good vibes, this and that. Now, Kenneth says in his confessional that he wanted to say these things, that he wanted to express himself about how he liked Aisha to basically hurt Shorty. I wanted her to hear it and I wanted to hurt her. I was like, really? Which made me feel like, did he have this connection with her on screen so that when Shorty watched it back, she would be hurt? So that's why I said before, I didn't even know if his reaction to my age was genuine. Because you saying here next to Shorty, well, you sitting here boasting about old girl in front of Shorty, and then your confession, you then say, like, I was saying things to hurt her. I wanted her to hear me boast about someone and for it to hurt her the way she tried to do me. That shit is stupid. And Shorty felt like, well, I'm happy he's finally being honest, okay, about how he had a good date with her or whatever, because he wasn't honest the first time. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine by me. And I was like, that's true. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. Who wants to date somebody that behaves that way? Honey, a toxic man. Okay? Shorty's over that man. Shorty's over everybody. And I believe also Kenneth is immature. So Dr. Cole tells them all, look, y'all have a choice, to either not go on any dates or to either not go on any dates and focus on, your stuff with your person or whatever, or to go on another date with the last one you went on a date with. And I was like, well, that should be easy for most people. So that's why I think the next episode is probably the finale. Well, they don't really usually get more than like 12 episodes on the show, so we shall see. But Alfonso and Shay both decide to not go on any more dates, to focus on themselves, to get ready for either a ring or not. Kenneth and Shorty both decide to not go on more dates either because Shorty had already dismissed Tavy, and Kenneth was only dating old girl, Myasia, to make Shorty feel some kind of way. So I'm like, he wasn't gonna do that. Now, Charlena decides to have a closure date with Chris. And he's like, what the fuck? When Otis said, I don't know why she needs a closure date. Like, what's the closure for? And so he's like, I don't get why she's doing that. So because Charlena said that she wants to have a closure date with Chris, Otis then says he wants a third date with the girl, Sheree. And I was like, but the first 2 days wasn't shit. Like, I don't get why have a third date when the first 2 days were nothing at the all, okay? Of course, that was the only reason why Kenneth chose her specifically. Yeah, it was to hurt Shorty the whole time. So I'm like, there was no genuineness in his connection with her. And I hope when Myasia watches the show back that she cusses his ass out. Like, don't be using me to get back at her. Like, don't do that. That's the bullshit of the shit. So again, the season finale comes on, I believe, next week. And I will review that eventually. But like the video, y'all, while I get ready for the Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, let's get into the Housewives of Atlanta. It was a good episode. Okay, we have a couple of new confessional looks that I want to get into first and foremost. I know I love the fashion of it all. We have, of course, Marlo, Candy, and Drew's new looks. I love Candy and Drew's new look. Okay, even though I don't like the wiggery, this around the lace of the edges of Drew's wig or whatever. I don't hate it. I need to see the post a little bit later on to pay more attention. I love the blue on Candy. I absolutely love the blue on Candy. I also love the extras of the hair, the big old bun on top with the long cascading curls down the side. It's just enough tit to not be too much tit. It's a lot of tit now. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of tit. But I also feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's not that bad. Okay, it's not that bad. But I love Candy. When I'm like, oh, this is the look Candy. Okay, this is it. Marlo's flower top. Is it a flower? Is it a butterfly? I don't know. I don't like it because like the hair to me doesn't look the best. Okay. I feel like that kind of top is something where you have like a ponytail or a slick back look. Her makeup to me is too drag like on her face, and we've seen her look better. So I don't know if that was a throwaway look or whatever, but it's not my favorite look. Drew's dress also looked like she could be an Avenger. You know, saying around here, right, with Thor and Captain America, and all these people in Black Panther. So yeah, it's for sure. I'm a superhero with tits look. But again, I like her makeup. The hair is not. I don't mind the hair. I don't. It's fine. But I still think it's cute. It's just she's an Avenger. That's what it is. Okay. But let's get into the episode. Marlo was up here building a house. Okay, she's building a house over in Decatur. Okay, in Decatur, Georgia, and she has Sheree. And can you pull up to talk about her house or whatever while she was a contractor? Now she told the contractor that these two women, one of them took 20 years to build a house, and the other one's still building. I'm like, who is still building their house? Is Kenya still building her house or Sheree? And I was probably Sheree probably was a 20-year builder, so maybe Kenya still haven't worked on her house. I don't know. But it was funny. It was funny nonetheless. Now we see her plan to have closet. The closet is going to be bigger than her room. I don't understand that. I feel like when you are building something from scratch, you should not have to make something smaller. Just because I feel like Marlo has like, I want a closet that looks like a store, which we know kind of came from who. That's how Toya's closet was. I think on not Potomac, on Rachel Madison. So I get it. I get it. However, I'm like, I would not be building a house from scratch and then say I'm gonna have a smaller room. No, I want everything to be the size I want it to be. Okay, and that's what it is. But that's on her. Now we do not know how much her house is gonna cost to be built. She's keeping it under wraps. No one knows where Marlo makes money at. No one knows how much she spends on stuff. Marlo was very much so an enigma wrapped up in a lie. Because I just I feel like there's nothing wrong with someone admitting how they do things currently. Okay, when they start fussing about Marlo's income, because Marlo feels like people always bring up my money or whatever, and I was like, well, no, sure, that's right. Marlo, that be you. I think you speak on your money more than other people do, and I wonder if that's to deflect people from knowing what you actually do. And when Sheree brings up how, well, I can't believe you're moving so far out because you're a Buckhead girl. Now I Googled Buckhead and I Googled Decatur. Okay, in Georgia, and they said Decatur is like the most expensive like neighborhood or whatever. But they also brought up how Buckhead is also a nice neighborhood too. So I was like, well, is it one or the other? Now, Marla brings up how my income can afford me to live here in Decatur or whatever, but y'all keep telling me I'm rich. And I was like, no. And Kenya said, well, no, you always say you're rich. You say you're rich. You even said it over and over at your event. They then run tape back showing her bring up how, I got money and I'm known for making money in fashion. And we do always ask where the money comes from. I don't think no one knows where your money comes from. And for Marlo to say, well, it's too personal, right? it's too personal to ask a person where they get their money from. And I was like, that's only true when someone knows how you actually make money. It's weird to me. Now, when Marla kind of gets upset and well, Ken, you're full of shit or whatever I'm saying, but she calms down a little bit. And it's weird that she don't get the reason people ask her where she got her money from, because there's no track record of you working to make the money that you made. And I think sometimes with folks, well, we know, okay, well, so and so, this lady right here was married to a whole billionaire, okay, and so it was in the divorce settlement, and that's where it came from. But it's like you just dated multiple rich men, and it's like, well, then say that. Say I've dated multiple rich men who gave me money, and I may still be doing that. But I also agree with how people say, like, you dated, rich men supposedly like 10 years ago. So how are you still making money now? Because if this is the thing, if someone gives you money, but you don't have any way to make more money, you end up just spending their money. So it's weird to me that she don't get the questions is based on the fact that no one knows where your money came from. Any rich person can say, "Oh, I invested in stocks. I worked at a trading company." Like they'll say where the money started from. She don't have no starting point. And that's why it's questionable because no tea no shade, you were a felon, okay? And no tea no shade, there's no W-2s, there's no tax refunds, there's no trace of how you make money. So people do wonder. You've never been married or whatever, and you dated a billionaire years ago. He didn't give you $1 billion. Did he give you a million? If he gave you let's say he had a million 10 years ago, how did you invest? She never discusses any of that. So my thing is, it's not too personal. It's it's really conversational. If there's no fun, Marla may be a scammer, and she can't talk because she's a scammer. That's probably what it is. She's a scammer. Um, right. It's just a conversation. Let's see. No, Decatur, where is greater, isn't top tier to live in. Buckhead is the rich. Oh, so Buckhead is the rich area. Decatur is kind of hood, but it's being gentrified. Oh. Hmm. Okay. I hope Marlo not gonna hit us with some Fed charges 5 seasons down the line, like Jen with honey, because it's like, where is it coming from? No one knows where it's coming from. And that's on BS. But again, we're gonna let that be. So we do find out that all the women are going to New York for Candy's play. And then Kenya brings up how, she does not plan to see Mark, but that she will just have the nanny take Brooklyn to, see Mark. And Sheree brings about she plans to see Tyrone when she's there because Tyrone's on house arrest at that point in time, and he's on house arrest in Pennsylvania, but he can travel up to 100 miles away from his address, so he might be able to come to New York to see her. I don't think we're gonna ever see Tyrone on Housewives ever. Okay, and she may be a scammer. A little scammer. Marlo was a Florida girl. She know how to scam and keep money in them pockets. I was like, well, that is maybe her cross to bear. Let's move on to the next. We'll see Candy and Todd having a conversation. People feel like Candy and Todd are using things to make up a fake storyline with them arguing or having these, marital disagreements or whatever. And the main issue they're having is them about this condo. This condo that's in Jersey, whatever, that Todd really wants them to, have their own. And when they're in New York, they can stay there, whatever. And Candy just like, for her, it's like, it's weird for me to be there because it's this old place with this old ex. So like, I just don't want to be there, whatever. And when Todd feel like, well, it's a fixer upper or whatever, we can fix it up. We can go there. We're in New York or whatever. The kids can be there too. And it's just a place for us to be when we're in New York. I feel like I see both of their points because I don't think Candy's point is we should get rid of the place. I think Candy's point is I don't have to be there in order for you to do whatever you want to do with it. It's ours, cool, but you can't force me to want to go like vacation and stay there when we're in New York. I get her point in that, okay? And Todd feel like Candy just always wants things her way. And when Candy said, like, look, When I go to New York, I want to be in a hotel. I want to just be able to mess up whatever, and not have to worry about keeping the place up when I'm not there. And I'm like, again, I get it. I get it. I do think like when you are on vacation somewhere outside of your home, you don't want to have to go somewhere else to do more shit. You want to go have a hotel, have, the room service or whatever, and let that be that. But Todd's whole point is it's not only about you, it's about me too. And I get his point in that, okay? And I was like, when Kenny said Todd wants me to get excited about a gift he's re-gifting. It's a house he had with somebody else who he wants me to be happy about, and I'm just not happy. And I think the same way Todd wants Candy to compromise, I think he needs to too. I don't think it's fair for him to want her to be happy about something that he wants. It doesn't mean that she doesn't want him to have it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't want me to have the same emotions about it that you have. I don't want to stay there. You can. I don't want to be there, okay? But it's fine. Marlo, no time Marlo will be itching for argument even when nobody is coming at her like that. On Candy had a speak on it with Todd that aired last night. Well, it was last night. And Todd said something that was very poignant. Todd said Marlo be saying things just for the show. Marlo be doing things just for the show because that wasn't how she was beforehand. And when Todd said, I said, oh, that's you. Meaning Marlo was consistently being extra to be on the show. And she'll say dumb shit to be for the show. That ain't who she really is. Okay. And I'm like, that's on that. Candy need to compromise. They can hire a cleaning crew to clean the car. But I think that's her point. I think she doesn't want to have to do that for a condo that's she don't want to do that. But she don't want Todd to not do it. She just doesn't want to have to be a part of it. And I'm like, that's fine. It was what it was. Todd made a good point about Marlo. He did. Like the speak on the Todd was Todd and Candy. It was some great moments. You know what I'm saying? Todd made some great points about it or whatever. Because mainly we know that Marlo has been saying, we know this season Marlo has been saying a lot about Candy and Todd and stuff. And Candy brought up how as she's watching that season and she's seeing things, she's getting pissed because of stuff that she had no idea they were saying about her and not to her. And I think that's a big issue for people just in general. But again, Candy and Todd, I feel like him saying it was what it was. Now we have Drew and Ralph's counseling session with Dr. Ken. This was the messiest shit. And I feel like Ralph probably just doesn't want to be liked because there's no way on God's green earth that you could have did any of this and felt like it'd be smart. He's a Neanderthal. Okay? He's an idiot. Ralph is. And Ralph, I'm like, sir, you are quickly adding yourself to be one of the hated housewives husbands of today. Okay. Now, after their last fight, Ralph packed a bag, honey, and went and moved into their son's room, who has bunk beds. I'm like, y'all don't have no room? Like, y'all have a guest room? No, I just think it's weird when people have these huge houses and there is no guest room. Because I'm like, if me and my husband's fighting, like, and we want to sleep in separate rooms, I need to know that one of us in the other room will be comfortable. I'm not gonna be on couches. I don't want you on y'all. How do y'all not have a guest room? How? I'm so confused. Okay. Anyway, Drew brings up how when they're mad, though, that's what they do. Fine. So they discuss the whole dinner thing, okay? And I made the dinner plans to make Drew feel like a queen, okay? And I'm like, but Ralph, did you say why you did that? To make it seem like, okay, I planned something special for her. Oh, for no reason. No, sir, it's not for no reason. It's because you were having inappropriate conversations with your ex-assistant who you still have a conversation with personally. Okay. And it aggravated me that he was up there mad. My key was in the whole time. The energy Ralph had made me want to punch him in the throat. Okay. In the throat, in the chest, and the balls and all. Okay, it was aggravating. And then he gonna say, what I did for her, the dinner I planned to make her feel special, she did not appreciate it. And I do all these things for her, you know what I'm saying, that any other woman would appreciate, but she does not respect me or appreciate me. I was like, nigga, you had a inappropriate relationship with another woman. No, I don't appreciate shit yet because you ain't fixed that situation. And so it has aggravated me that he just would not acknowledge the reason she was pissed is because of what your ass did. You did that shit. It wasn't her. You. And he really I was like, oh God. And then he said, but this one here, everything is a problem to her. Why are you referring to your wife as this one here? Her name was Drew. Her name was Drew. And I was like, oh God. And I feel like if this is how we see him when he's just upset on camera, I can't imagine how worse he is when the cameras are not around. I think this is a control route, and that's the bad thing, okay? And for Drew, she's like, you know what? He always brings up the things he like buys or whatever. That stuff. It's not about the things, okay? I wanted to talk to him about how I felt. And this fool Raw is, I tried to give her a steak and lobster, but that night she only deserved a Lunchable. I'm like, a Lunchable? Again, how fast can I divorce him? When can I get a whole divorce? I need a divorce lawyer immediately because it was like Ralph was, and I don't know if Ralph believes that people will side with him because he made her a fancy dinner at somebody else's house. So we don't care about that. I thought it was stupid. I felt like if you want to make me feel special, don't get me all dialed up and take me to somebody else's house and then dog me out once we're there. Don't do that, okay? I was like, this is dumb. And then when they both brought up how, Drew said this about Dr. Ken and he said this about Dr. Ken, and Dr. Ken then said, well, I think y'all both should keep my name out y'all mouth. I'm like, sir, but you the one who talked to them. They're going to bring you up. I get he meant like, don't make it about what I said to y'all. Make it about what y'all want or whatever. But I'm like, sir, still fuck you. He then said, like, Drew, you need to live in the moment, okay? I'm like, Doctor Ken, fuck you. Do not tell her she should be only living in that moment because once she expressed how she felt to Ralph, it deflated Ralph and what he tried to do for her. But what about how she felt before he planned that dinner? What about that? What about them not having to, don't make her swallow her feelings to appease him. And I cannot believe he wanted her to swallow her feelings to appease Ralph. And yes, Ralph did say, hey, how about we handle the issues at counseling? I get that. But if you can't have a conversation with your wife without some kind of mediation from a therapist, then you on bullshit, bro. You could not have a constructive conversation with your wife about what you did to her, about how she felt. And you were so emotional about that, you then made her cry. It was aggravating because Drew's whole point the whole time was, I'm trying to tell him how I felt. The fact that at least we didn't see it, we didn't see him ask, well, why did you have to plan a dinner for her? Like, what happened before that? And she could have said he was having an inappropriate conversation via text with an assistant who he still talks to today. Okay, look, I don't know what back page, yellow page they found him on. Send Dr. Ken back to Oompa Loompa Land. Okay, send him back. Okay, Oompa Loompa Doopy Dee Doo. I don't have no time for you, sir. I was so aggravated because you can fully see he really, really identified with Ralph's point of view, even though Ralph was on bullshit. Oh, it made me so mad. Let's see. Ty can make money by having place available for. Oh, I said it too. It can be Airbnb. Ralph Roy, raise all my pressure, all of it. Okay. Not you with a backhanded Ralph. He's got to be a true monster, because of how when anyone is that bad on camera, that's them holding back. And that's what's fucked up. The therapist was a mess. He was one-sided, not addressing Ralph at all. I believe the doctor really believes Ralph is a maniac. He just played both sides to keep the checks coming. He ain't look. I don't feel like he will book clients like Martell and Marcel, men who want to be rewarded for their bullshit, and that's really all that it is. Drew is really here. Drew is really on here sad because if this isn't an agreed storyline, this is why storyline. This if this isn't an agreed storyline, then why is this storyline Drew? I don't think it's an. I think this is their. This is what's going on. So I don't think it's like her agreeing to look dumb. This is her life, and that's what's more fucked up. Anything for me. Drew should have never went on that dinner date. If that's how she really felt, he didn't deserve her going through all that work to look nice. But see, this is the issue I had with that. He planned something, didn't tell her. She didn't know what was going on. So we can't make it seem as if he said, "Hey, baby, I'm gonna get you dressed up," and that wasn't what it was. He had stuff. He was doing things for her that whole day. So we not gonna blame Drew at all. Drew had every right to want to go to whatever he planned and then have a conversation. Because my thing is, you get having me get dressed up does not mean we not gonna talk. It doesn't. And most times you get dressed up, you go to have a meal together to have a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So she had every right to still go on a date with her husband. What he did not have a right to tell her how she felt didn't matter at that point in time. Period. But that's what it was. And for Drew, she's like, I don't, and Drew made a good point. She's like, I don't get how I'm supposed to be living in this bliss when we have issues we have not handled. Like the bliss of that moment wouldn't be real. I can't fake like we're great because we're not. So why can't we have the conversation while we sit up here together? And I'm like, that's true. That is absolutely true. Ralph is an asshole who was too harsh to his wife in every moment of conflict. And that's the crazy part. And it's like, I don't know if he gets it or if he understands it, but it's like, that's what it is. And that isn't what it should be. Now Dr. Ken tells them how, y'all need to not be in attack mode. Y'all always fussing at each other. So y'all need to stop being combative with each other for like the next 30 days. And if the other person like fusses or argues or whatever within 30 days, the other person has to do whatever they want for a whole day. I'm like, how's that gonna fix what? Somebody give me that man's degree. Where did he go to school at? 'Cause I'm like, no, that ain't what they need. Okay, it's not. They need some regular weekly therapy. And that's a good thing to say, y'all. It's a good thing to say how they should not be fussing. I get that. Okay, I get that. However, no. I don't like Dr. Ken. Okay. Candy has her nephew and his fiance Safari go to these people's houses to give them little gift bags. Okay. I was like, what? Now we seen Patrick or Safari, one of them had posted themselves in these outfits on social media. We did not know what it was for. We now see that Candy had them go to the ladies' houses to give them a gift bag of bedroom candy stuff for them to use while going on the New York trip. I was like, I don't want nobody. Don't bring your nipples to my house. Don't do that. No, ma'am. Okay. So I do know that Sheree and them felt some kind of way. No, was it Sheree? It was Kenya and Marlo who were talking about how it was weird or whatever. And Marlo bringing up how Candy is all into sex. My thing is shopping. I'm like, but Candy making money from sex. Like Candy is fully making money with her bedroom candy stuff and her tours of the Dutch. Like Candy making money off of that. You don't make no money off shopping. I mean, you can resell some shit, okay, with your whole real resale shop. But I'm like, Candy out here making millions, okay, off sex toys. So again, Marlo has been consistently basically dogging Candy out behind Candy back. Okay, that's what I feel anyway. And Kenya, you be like, why would they? I'm Candy. I mean Kenya. I don't know because Kenya's coochie is out of commission. I'm saying that's what it is. Ain't nothing wrong with her, currently not being, in the coochie getting handled situation. But it's weird to me when anyone acts weirded out by Candy when they know, that's her brand. That's her business. She has a sex toy, and who don't want free freebies? Who don't want that? Okay. I was like, don't do that. Okay. But I was like, whatever. Yes, just simply, I don't. Kenya was last season up and rolling on the floor at a dungeon bachelor party in skimpy lingerie. Okay, so my thing is, at sometimes things get a little bit freaky. So why act like, oh my god, Candy having someone deliver things dressed in bondage was kind of crazy. She didn't put a dick on your door. It was what it was, but I'm leaving that be too. So again, it was like whatever. It was whatever. Candy then has a sprinter van for them all to be able to make it to the airport on time to ride together. And when Kenya got on the bus, because again it was all the couples, with Sonya and Ross, Drew and Ralph, Candy and Todd, and then Marlo who solo, Sheree who solo, and then Kenya. And Kenya gonna say, I can't believe, Candy wouldn't tell me this was a couple trip. I was like, at the party for Brooklyn, when they asked, was it a couple trip? She said, if you have someone, yes, bring them. Why would you not think that they would bring their husbands? It's no one else's fault. And this is the thing. This is the thing too. You was gonna still come. You would just be single. You were divorced. So my thing is, sometimes you will be around them and you will be a single person. That's what it is. Okay. So again, Kenya, don't be on bullshit, mama. Don't do that. Okay. But again, they get to New York or whatever. They are all sitting out on the balcony, whatever. And Candy then said, okay, we're gonna play a little game to see who gets the next best room. It's where we'll have the best, sex story. Okay. And Sheree brings up what I think Sonya thinks that she was part of Maha Club. She had sex on a plane. Sheree said she had sex in broad daylight, in Miami in the pool. I was like, whatever. Ralph said how him and Drew had sex in the ocean in the Dominican Republic, and it was whales. And I say it was whales in the ocean. Okay, so we thought he was lying. And then Kenya talks about being in the woods with some guy who was like a hunter. They were shooting for coyotes, and they shot a coyote. And while following the blood, Kenya made up a story. Kenya made up some shit about fucking somebody in the woods after a coyote. I was like, girl, Kenya's a bad actress. Anyway, Kenya won with the best fake storyline, if you ask me. Well, let me see. Yeah, they were clutching their purse for no reason at all. Candy is a go-getter who protects her assets and lives her dreams out loud. You're going to either hate or congratulate. It is simple as that. I agree. It's not a couple's trip. It's a trip. If you have a man, bring him. Boom. Boom. Because, and my thing is, and that's the life. I don't think when you are you're going to see a play that she's put, why would you not think her husband, why would you not think people not bringing spouses? But it's because Kenya and Mark has never operated as a couple. They have. So I don't think she realizes, like, when it's a trip, your husband comes, because her husband has never came. Ever. Okay. Anyway, we then see a couple conversations that I was like, what is y'all doing? So we see Sonya talking to Ross. We also seen Marlo and Sheree talking. And when Sonya was talking to her husband Ross, she brings up, now they call him Ross. His name is Aaron, whatever. She tells him how she's looking at Drew kind of funny, a little bit sideways, because I don't understand, why Drew is not cut off her assistant who is gossiping about her friend Sheree. And I said, well, for one, Sonya, stop. You know what I'm saying? Drew and Sheree are not friends, in my opinion. I think Drew and Sheree are co-workers currently. So Saya trying to figure out why Drew isn't like dropping the assistant dude because her friend Sheree is being discussed. I'm like, but Sheree isn't her friend at all, in my opinion. I still don't know why Drew has not dropped Anthony, whatever, but I'm like, whatever. But I don't think it has anything to do with her wanting to be a good friend to Sheree. She don't know Sheree. Drew, this is her second season, and this is the first season her and Sheree have probably been on the show. Now, I'm sure they know of each other. Okay, because that's what it is. But I'm like, I don't think I'm like, I just want you to sit this one out. I don't want you to kind of want to go at Drew or question Drew based on her and Sheree. It's like, no, man, don't do it or whatever. And I think when she said that she felt like, that can mean that Drew is just as messy as the assistant because she won't fire. I'm like, don't do that. I don't think Drew is as messy as Anthony at all. I think they all have just shit going on. Okay. All I know is the reunion is going to be juicy. I am predicting Candy. I think Candy gonna have a go at Kenya, Sheree, and Marlo. And I think that will make Candy for sure get a peach next season. And then next season, it may be Candy's last season. But I for sure feel like the reunion will be amazing. Okay. After that, too, please don't go hard for Sheree. Right, slow down, look, work over it. Because Sheree also had, gay juice on Ralph and didn't say shit. Okay, so again, everybody being messy, but that's on them. Okay, now with Marlo and Sheree talking, and I'm like, girl, Marlo, I don't understand makeup that goes through phases. Like, I don't get how it's makeup and then you have like 8 different tones. I don't have time. If I can't go out and look how I look, I don't want to look. Look, this me. I don't have time for all that stuff. It's just because what if it rained? Anyway, so they're going to dinner, but also going to see Ty's condo. And when Marlo said, "Oh, you mean Ty's furnishless condo?" And then asked Sheree if she thinks Ty could be sneaking off doing things behind Candy's back. So Marlo trying to create a narrative that Todd is cheating on Candy, but then said, "Well, maybe not because." Todd isn't as freaky as Candy. That Candy may need therapy. I'm like, Candy may need therapy. The fact that she said Candy can need therapy because she has a sex, I was like, girl, but that's how you know Marlo isn't about business. No one should look at Candy and then say, oh, Candy's a freak. No, she was smart enough to capitalize off of BS. And it became a whole multi-million dollar business. And I was like, I don't like even how Sheree is participating in the Candy slander. It's like it's dumb. And it's also to me an easy, lazy read to say, oh yeah, Ty may be cheating and Candy's a freak. That's girl. I'm gonna leave that be. So we do see everyone on the Sprinter van going to the condo, and the whole conversation, comes about because Candy still feel like I'm saying, I just do not want to be the condo. How the condo's out the way in New York, whatever, because it's in Jersey, and how it's really Todd's condo. Okay, and when he's here in New York, he likes to be hanging out with friends. He be hanging out, chilling or whatever. And then when Sheree then said, "Oh, the truth comes out. Maybe maybe Candy's worried about Todd cheating." Now, when I think Sonya asked Candy, "Well, do you have thoughts of him like cheating on you, or whatever?" She's like, "Well, yeah, sometimes because that's just a life. That's just a feeling I have sometimes. But it is what it is because he likes hanging out late and shit." I think anyone could feel or wonder, is he cheating on me? Because he be hanging out in New York tough. Like, what's going on? And, that's at least she's honest about how she feels. But it's always in the back of her head, like anything could happen and whatnot. Okay. Now, Todd was like, you know what? I feel like Candy does not think about the fact that in Atlanta, that's her zone, that's her comfort zone. And so when I'm there, I'm fully in her world, fully in her zone or whatever, and that's what it is. But when I'm in New York, that's my comfort zone, okay? Because I'm from here, and I just wish, she would allow me to be here and just feel at her. Like, I want to be able to walk down the street with my son, or whatever. I want to be able to just feel my comfort zone when I'm here. And it wasn't until that moment I was like, okay, for him coming to New York, he wants to be at home. He wants to have a place that is a home, not a hotel. He does not want to come there and feel like he's on vacation. He wants to come if like he's at home. And I did not get into that very moment. However, I do also feel like you can feel at home there, but she does not have to want to stay in a place that you share with your ex. It's 2 different things or whatever. And then they bring up how Candy is sometimes because she's so famous. She's been famous. She's been famous for so long. She may not even understand or get how she doesn't cater, or she does not really realize how much she does not give other people her attention because she's just used to being, Candy Birds, okay? And not that it's a bad thing about her, but it's just her world, and she don't get it. And Ken's like, I just don't think that, you know, um, we have to do that together. And so I try to do whatever I try to do to make it better for us. Okay. But again, that's your condo. Candy does not want to be at that condo. And we seen it. It was like the condo, it was nothing spectacular. You can tell it was old. Okay. It had a spiral staircase. So I'm like, you can feel that it wasn't really somewhere fancy or whatever. But I also feel like it's a small condo that should be flipped as an Airbnb. Um, so my thing is, I think Todd wants something for himself in New York, and he wants Candy to be a part of it. And I think Candy is okay with that. I think Candy's sticker thing is, I don't want to be that condo. And I think the compromise could be, let's find a place that you like, that I like, so that when we are here, we are here. And that condo can be flipped to be Airbnb to make us money. I don't think the compromise should be Candy should have to be okay with being at Todd's ex-girlfriend in his condo currently. I don't think that's a compromise. I think the compromise is, let's find us somewhere that we're both comfortable at. Because if I'm not comfortable there, how would that be compromised? I'm uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable. But I do think she needs to at least acknowledge he wants a place in York. She put up on the speak one of that, Todd wants to have homes in different cities and different states. And she doesn't want that. She's never wanted to like live. She's always wanted to be in Atlanta. And Todd said, "Yeah, the thing, it ain't always about you." So I'm like, I get that. So the compromise, in my opinion, would be, let's find a place that we both like, that we do not have to spend $100,000 on to make it be livable. And when we here, we can live there. I don't think it has to be that condo. Candy's a control freak, and if she doesn't stop, she won't have a husband. I don't think Todd will leave her for that at all. I think Todd will put up with it and just be unhappy. Um, it was a nice condo that needed to be able to, yeah, but I also don't think she has to be there. When Candy goes to a condo, hire herself a maid, so she should have to spend more money to be. Girl, I ain't gonna do that. I don't see the issue with finding somewhere they both like. That's my only issue. But again, it's a nice little condo. It just needs to be updated and whatever, and make it an Airbnb. But then again, find somewhere y'all both like. And that way Todd has somewhere to call home in New York, and Candy then can't make an excuse and saying, I don't feel comfortable there. To me, that's a compromise. But again, I'll let that be. Anyway, they go to dinner. Okay. And the whole dinner scene to me was Cray and Z. So, the food was this, the food was that. Fine, fine, fine. But they get on the conversation of, one, Cyan realizes that Candy and Drew were not wearing wedding rings. Now Candy's like, well, I really, really wear mine. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy. But I wonder, because she be gone so much and traveling so much, she doesn't want to lose it. But I still don't get why she don't wear her ring. Okay, but that's that on that. Anyway, but again, we see Tyler wearing his ring. Now Drew brings up the reason she does not wear it, because when she was pregnant, her fingers got swollen or whatever. Then after, like, the ring stopped fitting her finger. But then because they kept having issues or whatever, she just never put it back on. And we see flashbacks of Drew like this. She never had a ring on. And I'm like, that's what it is. Now Ralph is at least wearing his ring, but Drew is not wearing her. And Drew brings up, like, for her, no, they get into the assistant conversation. And Ralph brings up how he had to fight the assistant based on what had happened. And Drew was like, well, for me, it's just hard to even accept the fact that, like, we had an issue based on another woman being involved. It was hard for me to kind of wrap my mind around that. And I'm like, that's why I keep saying to y'all, I don't think what they're going through is fake. Even Ty brought up on the after show. He's like, you know what? I think people don't realize that Drew and Ralph have not been on the show for years. Like, this is like their first and second seasons. And they're going through things while the show is being filmed. When we've been on the show for 10 years. So, things happen over time. Let me see. Candy let Candy gotta let Todd have him outside of her like she does. I agree. Candy's being petty. It's like she doesn't want Todd to have anything of his own. I don't think that's true. I don't think Candy's issue is she don't want Todd to have something. I think her point is I don't like that place. So I don't think, I don't that's not my opinion, that's your opinion. Let's see. I don't wear my ring often. I've been trying to wear it more. My husband wears his every day, but I only go shopping. It's like really go. I get that. Um, you know, I get that. Kenny has been putting Todd in several uncomfortable situations since before they have been married, and he is supposed to just suck it up because she is Kenny Birds. That doesn't seem fair. Well, who said that? Who said that? I don't think anyone wants Todd, at least me, and I don't want Todd to suck things up either. I appreciate him speaking up and saying that he wants to feel at home while in New York. So a compromise would be, because that's what he's saying that he wants, for them to find a place that they both can be comfortable in. Because his thing is he just wants to be in New York. So I think they should be in New York, but I don't think anyone, especially not me, wants Todd to suck it up because he's Candy. Now, if he has been doing that and that's why he's unhappy now, that's on Todd. But he should always speak up and say what he wants to do too, and then they both should have to compromise. That's what it is. But on to the whole Ralph situation with Ralph and Drew. I do feel like people don't get Drew may just be, a wife in turmoil with her husband. And that's what it is. And Drew saying how, again, I'm having to deal with the fact that my husband had an inappropriate conversation with a woman. And that's, it's hurting me. And so when Ralph was like, I get that, yeah, but how do you move past the moment of what happened? Well, it just happened. So it's like Ralph wants to say, well, I said sorry, you was in a fire, so you know what I'm saying? We should be good. It's like, no, because she still feels like, well, what else is he doing? And both Candy and Kenny was like going in on him, like, it was dumb, it was stupid, it doesn't make any sense what you did. And Kenny even brought up how Ralph reminds her of Mark. Now, this is the part where I felt like when I watched Speak on It, I didn't get it. Candy and Todd both said Kenya was being extremely aggressive and like kind of going at Ralph. And when Todd said, and also Candy did it a little bit too, that Drew was enjoying the fact that people were telling Ralph about himself. She enjoyed that. And she did so much so that even when Kenya was maybe doing too much, that Drew did not tell her to calm down. And Todd was like, the hard part about being a husband on the show is if the women are coming at us, we can't even really respond because our response will be coming or will be looked at as, oh, we are men coming at women. And the hard part is that, the women will make up rumors about us, discuss us or whatever, and we're not fully allowed to respond without being dogged out even more. And I was like, yeah, that's true. It's sad. I think we've said that before in the past about other things, about how even the rumor thing, well, Rob being gay, he can't fully even go off on whoever. He can go off on Anthony, but that's it. But the point in saying that, they felt like Kenya was going tough at Ralph, mainly because she felt like he reminded her of Mark. So that could have been where her aggressiveness came from, and them being in the scene. Okay, not saying what we've seen. I'm saying what they saw, what they witnessed in the scene, in the moment being there. That Kenya was being extra, but because she was triggered by Ross' actions being just like Mark's actions, and how the man kind of can't win for losing. Like, he can't really defend himself to Kenya, because if he said something out the way, then he will be the bad guy. So I do feel like sometimes the women do have to step in when a woman is going at their husband too hard, because you do not want your husband to have to reply to the woman, but you also don't want it to be to where you don't want to be able to have these conversations. So I like the way that Candy and both Ty was like, Kenya was doing too much, but basically because of what Ralph did. Okay. Right. Mm-hmm. Triggered. But for me, I would never allow anyone to disrespect my husband. Let me check him, and you can check him, but watch your tone. So it was funny to see how both Kenny and Ty said, "Nah, Kenny was doing the most." You know what I'm saying? But it's because she was triggered by what Mark had been doing to her. She, probably had not addressed that stuff. But the fact that Ralph still doesn't really fully accept you are in the situation because of what you did. So it's hard for me to feel bad for him about Kenya going off at the same time, because you put yourself and you put your wife in this predicament by what you did, and then you still won't really accept how it happened. And then when they talking or whatever, and then Rob kind of says how, well, Drew will be the one who wants to rehash stuff or whatever, and I don't get why she wants to rehash things if we've already handled it, whatever. And if we see things different ways. And King was like, you know what? That's, you are just like her. Like, you just like Mark. You're telling her that she's lying and that, what she feels isn't real or whatever. And she's trying to tell you how she feels. You're turning her down. And I'm like, he is. He is. I was with Kenya on this one. Ralph was too much. And Drew and Ralph both are the type that go to the marriage counseling because the other person is wrong. So Drew welcomes someone else telling Ralph he's wrong. She sat there and didn't say shit. Like, okay, go off, sis. Go off, okay? But this is the kicker. They were up there going in on Ralph, okay? Just telling him about himself, which is fine. Because in these situations of couples all being together, you have these conversations to discuss what happened. But my thing would be, you gonna watch how you speak to my husband. Even in my defense, respect my marriage, respect my husband. Let me cuss his ass out. You can't do that, okay? I think even how we seen Candy getting his ass, Candy still, remain respectful. Kenya, maybe not, okay? Right, she would talking about my husband. Not on my watch. Not on my watch, okay? But this is the kicker. It went from them going off on Ralph about what he did to her, about how he makes Drew feel, about how he's wrong, to Marlo then saying, but that's on Drew because Drew was the one who allows him to do what he does. I'm like, now how we get here? Y'all were just defending me. Now it's on me. Now you're gonna blame me. And Kenya, who was just going in on Ralph, then says, well, I agree. Yeah. And Drew does stuff to him that she complained that he does to her, and it be on her. And I'm like, see, you can't do that. Don't try to, play concerts to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that with me. Because then y'all were just on my side and now you're coming at me. Because again, this is why you do not want to fully open up about your marriage around people who don't like you. Because let's be truthful, Kenya don't really like Drew, even though she don't really dislike Drew. Okay. And it's like you was sitting up there and again, not saying shit while your husband got chewed out and was kind of gleefully let it happen. And then the tables turned and now Drew is getting, came at from Kenya and Marlo. And probably Sheree a little bit too. So they say how Drew is around here not letting things go, like the issue between her and Sheree. And Drew won't admit she wrong. I still do not feel that Drew was wrong in the situation with Sheree. I feel like Drew told one person. She told Candy. Had Candy not told Marlo and Kenya, Sheree would not have been upset. Sheree was upset because someone else knew what Drew knew. But Drew was not the one who said shit. That's on Candy. So I don't feel that Drew was wrong at all. Period. I think the only part that she can say she was wrong in is not going to Sheree sooner. Okay. Wait, let me go back up. Yep. Even in my defense, watch your tongue with my husband because he's the man, and the second he responds, he's the bad guy. And that's exactly what Ty and Kenya was saying on the speak on it. Drew was sitting back pridefully while Kenya was on his ass. That's what happens when people who open their marriage up to the criticism be making it a storyline. Both things can be true. When everyone both sides of the situation, wait, when everyone both sides of the situation, it one empowers for off behavior. I know she ain't perfect, but that man is terrible. He is, and I'm like, I just don't get why people want to make it seem like only empowers. Okay, um, I don't know what people want to make it seem like Drew could be at fault in more ways than Ralph, because I'm like we see him he be gaslighting her. Deep down, he doesn't see it for Drew, so her going in on Ralph was par for the course. Because I can look innocent. I can look innocent. I was like, no, wait a minute, Kenya, you were just defending her, and then switch the tables pretty fast. Okay, Sheree isn't going to go hard to her Kenya because she know not to. She know not to. Truth be told, because she still has not said shit to Candy. We haven't seen her say shit to Candy about it. That's the part that's weird for me. And when again they get on Drew and her and Sheree's situation, and Drew like, look, I don't start shit, okay? But if you bring this shit to me, I will finish it. Okay, that's what it is. And she also brought about, she's like, no one here would allow anyone else to speak on her husband, which is true. Candy don't allow anyone to talk shit about Todd. She doesn't. Okay. And I feel like Sonya will be the same way. So I think Kenya and Marlo and Sheree, in my opinion, don't understand having to defend the man they're with. Okay. Kenya, your marriage to Mark was a bunch of bullshit. And he's a horrible person. You said that yourself. So I don't think anyone gets how Drew probably really does love Ralph, even though he's an asshole. That's her husband. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why, I am very careful in what I don't y'all would never see me discuss my relationship on social. I just won't do it because you should not allow people into your relationship. You just should not unless they're actually in your life. Because when you let folks around you just comment on shit, it's gonna fuck up some shit. It will. So you have to keep things to yourself. Okay. That is why I keep my marriage to myself, good or bad. I just don't share with my family and friends because they form opinions that don't boom. Boom. You have to be careful what you allow into your life because it can cause turmoil. Okay. So when Drew brings up how, basically she raked out some shit. Okay, and then no one would allow others to speak on their husbands. And Candy, first of all, was your assistant, who said, whatever about Sheree. And then I'm like, Candy, but she was Candy, it was you. It was you. Candy told people it was you. And when Drew said, look, at the end of the day, I don't have any proof that Anthony said these things about my husband. Now, when Sheree puts her phone out and shows a text thread that only shows a picture that Anthony sent her, a photo of Ralph for Dennis. Dennis was Portia baby daddy. And it's, saying he has a scoop on them too. I'm like, that ain't proof that they gay. So was Dennis gay too? Is that what you're saying? I was so confused about what she showed. There was like, that ain't proof. That's proof that Anthony be talking to her. But to me, that also proves Sheree is a liar because Sheree makes it seem as if she don't have no contact with Anthony, but she does. Okay, and I was like, it's just messy. And Ralph like, what y'all talking about? And Sheree then said, oh, Anthony said that you're gay. He's like, what? Now Ralph was on, I think the husband's little show on YouTube or whatever, and when asked about it, he kind of didn't deny or I can't say the word. My man is bad. He did not confirm or deny what it was, and I felt like he feels like I'm not going to either confirm or deny a bullshit rumor, like it's some bullshit. Okay, Ralph is what? Yes, I agree. I completely agree. Okay, let's see, she told Candy because she wanted advice on how to handle it. And that's why I said, if you see the scene of her talking to Candy, she wasn't even gossiping. Her thing was, Anthony saying these things that I don't know what to do. What should I do? And Candy's advice was, you should go talk to Sheree. Candy then went and told everyone else. Candy was the one gossiping. Truthfully, she was. But we also know Candy is also always there forever. Anything said on the show while being filmed on show, while being mic'd, is open game. So you can't be upset if someone talks about what you already brought up, which is true. But again, it's like, why is no one mad at Candy? Why are y'all putting all the heat on Drew? It's dumb. And Drew, in my opinion, Drew is having to defend herself against, Marlo, Sheree, Kenya. Oh, and now we see probably Sonya Ross too. Okay. All right, Kenya, we don't want another Peter and Nene trying to be trying to be a damn bitch. And that's the bad part, because if Drew check Kenya, it's gonna create a whole other thing, because the men feel like they can't respond back to the women without being called a bitch or being called aggressive or being called whatever else. So it's like a no-win situation. Ralph is a professional narcissist and gaslighted, who likes to push his wife down to bring her back up. A cat and dog chases. What this is, a vicious toxic cycle. Seek advice from professionals, not friends. Okay, I agree with that too. Tanya used to say that Candy would spread stuff. This is true. This is true. That text ratio was a pic of him, and then it's that text that I have some stuff on him, but it didn't say he was gay. He could have said he was cheating, right? Because my thing is, seeing someone with Dennis, it means she's cheating. Now he's gay, because we know Dennis cheated on Portia. So again, that's why I said Sheree making it seem like she showed proof didn't make any sense. And again, they're all, in my opinion, trying to make Drew out to be the bad guy. And truthfully, she isn't. Like, they want to complain about her marriage or whatever. They then say, she's a liar or whatever. They then say she's being messy because her assistant says some shit or whatever. And I'm like, all of that isn't really black and white shit. It's like it's some conjumbled things up in there that they need to address. But anyway, honey, it went off with them figuring out that Sheree said that man was gay. And we will see what happens next time. Wait, where is Drew past my man? Honey, I'll probably at church. I agree with you. She definitely went to Candy for advice, and then Candy told her what to do, but then went behind her back and told someone what she said. Straight behind her back. And then it's like, so I do feel like once the reunion happens, it may be a different tone, because they can see what she wasn't being malicious in it. But in my opinion, Marlo and Sheree and even Kenya kind of, well, maybe nobody except Drew don't have like a storyline, because Marlo raising them boys, that's not, we ain't gonna really hear. Sheree, not being able to get any camera time with Tyrone was it's on bullshit. And Kenya, we're not gonna see her with Mark, so that's on bullshit. So again, it's like I think it's easy for them three to make Drew the scapegoat. So that way they have someone to fuss with all season. And Drew just has to take it. But it make it seem like Drew's the issue. But it isn't Drew. Truth be told, it isn't. Now, is her husband ain't shit? He's not shit. Okay. Is she kind of dumb for saying yes, she is. But that's her husband. That's on her. Okay. But again, we shall see. But anyway, y'all, that's all I have for your today. Okay, I am done with the review of Put a Ring on It and also Real Housewives of Atlanta. I may be on later. I don't know how I'm gonna feel because it's kind of dumb today. Ralph appears to have the manosphere type attitude. I don't know what that means. If that means he's like to think about himself, I agree. Do you feel they are serving the season? Serving, I would say yeah. I would say that the past couple of seasons have been a bit lackluster. I do feel like this season is some newness in it, and so that's appreciative. That is some newness into it. However, I also feel like people just kind of don't want to acknowledge that it's still a good show. People like to focus on when Nene isn't here anymore. Important, it's like okay, but time goes on. So it's like I like the season so far, and I think it'll only get better as the season progresses. The way Kenya was talking to Ralph would have one definitely if it was my husband. Just honey, look, okay. I don't play about mine. I don't. So it's like I'm saying, shut up. This is thank you. I try to look. I try to have fun all the time, y'all. Mixed up would make Sheree look stupid when waiting for the jailbird. Wasn't Sheree mad at Nene when she called her on gay? She was. And I also don't like the narrative of people jumping to someone's gay as the end all be all reads or whatever. I think that's kind of dumb. Now do not forget tomorrow afternoon I will be live for Basketball Wives. My live is set for 2:30. It may be earlier or later, I don't know, but it will be sometime tomorrow. Because I was supposed to live early today and it was out there morning long. So I could not hear on live. So again, tomorrow, sometime between 2 and 4, I will be live for Basketball Wives and Couples Retreats. So come on back tomorrow for that. I want to be live later on today to do the Heavenly Carlos King Martell situation. But I'm trying to watch Heavenly live and I'm getting bored. So we shall see if I can come live for this later on. This season has been somewhat entertaining. Right, it's been somewhat entertaining. I agree. Not Sheree needs to be on Love at the Locker. So what if he's gay? That's between him and Drew. Right, that's the lady man. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna leave it here. Please make sure you still like the video, comments in the comment section on the replay. Also follow me on social media at JayLeesCorner and stuff. Anyway, I gotta go. I love you all. Peace and blessings. Bye.